Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wonder why, certain products just seem to grab you? Or why some deals feel absolutely unmissable?
It's fascinating stuff.
Totally. Today, we're kind of peeling back the curtain on the psychology behind why we choose what we choose, especially as consumers.
That's right. We're digging into an article by Aunt Jane, 9 hidden psychological triggers that make customers say yes. It really leans on Melina Palmer's book, What Your Customer Wants and Can't Tell You.
And the idea here isn't like to teach manipulation tactics or anything.
No, not at all. It's more about becoming aware, right?
Mm.
Understanding the subtle forces at play when we're making decisions about, well, buying things.
Exactly. Giving you, the listener, a sort of insider's view so you can spot these things happening. We're going to walk through 9 key psychological triggers.
Yep, 9 of them. We've got framing, anchoring and adjustment, relativity,
Mm.
loss aversion, scarcity, social proof. What else?
Nudges in choice architecture, the pain of paying, and the last one.
Reciprocity.
Yeah.
Right. These 9 give a pretty good map of how our minds work in these situations.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, framing. What's the deal with that one?
So framing is basically all about how information is presented. You can have the exact same facts, but if you frame them differently, say, positively versus negatively, it can totally change how people feel about it.
Oh, right. The article had that great example. 90% fat-free versus 10% fat content. Same thing, technically.
Precisely. But 90% fat-free sounds way better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It focuses on the positive, the lack of fat.
Whereas 10% fat content highlights the fat that is there.
Exactly. Our brains just tend to gravitate towards the positive frame. It feels, I don't know, safer or more appealing. And you see this everywhere, not just food labels, politics, ads.
Yeah, it makes you realize how much the presentation shapes our perception. Okay, so what's principle number 2?
Number 2 is anchoring and adjustment. This is about how the very first piece of information we get, the anchor, kind of sticks in our head and influences how we judge everything that comes after.
Okay, like in shopping, how does that work?
Well, think about seeing something online. Maybe it says original price, $2,098, but it's crossed out, and the price now is, say, $259.
Right. You see that all the time.
That Euro 2098, that's the anchor. Even if you had no clue what that gadget should cost, that high initial number makes the 259 seem like an amazing steal.
Yeah, your brain immediately thinks, wow, huge discount. Even if 259 is still, 259.
Exactly. We latch onto that first number, and then we sort of adjust our thinking from there, but we don't adjust nearly enough usually. It skews our perception of value.
Interesting. Okay, next is relativity. This sounds like comparing things.
That's the core idea. We rarely evaluate things in a total vacuum. Instead, we figure out how good something is by comparing it to the other options available right then and there.
So the context matters. The article mentioned Netflix plans.
Yeah, perfect example. You usually see like a basic, a standard, and a premium plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Often the standard plan is priced, so it looks like a really good deal compared to basic, maybe better quality, more screens, for just a bit more money. And then the premium plan is another jump up. By setting up those comparisons, Netflix subtly makes the standard, or maybe even the premium, feel like the most reasonable or valuable choice, even if you might have been fine with basic initially.
So the middle or slightly less attractive options make the target option look better by comparison, like a decoy.
Exactly. It shapes the choice architecture, guiding you without forcing you.
Clever. Okay, moving on to loss aversion. This one sounds powerful.
Oh, it really is. Loss aversion is this fundamental psychological thing where losing something feels roughly twice as bad as gaining something of equal value feels good.
Wow, twice as bad.
Yeah, the study suggests something like that. We're just much more motivated to avoid a loss than we are to chase an equivalent gain.
So how does that play out, like with sales?
Think about those limited time offer deals, especially ones with a countdown clock, like on Amazon sometimes.
Yeah, creates pressure.
Right. It taps directly into our fear of missing out, the fear of losing the chance to get that discount. That potential loss is often a stronger driver than the simple pleasure of saving the money. It makes us act faster.
Yeah, that fear of regret is potent. Okay, that leads nicely into the next one, scarcity. Similar vibe.
Definitely related. Scarcity is specifically about limited availability. When something seems rare or hard to get, we tend to perceive it as more valuable. And again, it creates urgency.
Like when a website says only 2 left in stock.
Exactly. That's classic scarcity. Your immediate thought is, oh, better grab it now before it's gone. It plays on that same fear of missing out, but it's triggered by the low quantity, not necessarily a time limit.
Makes sense. Even though they might get more stock later, that immediate scarcity pushes a button.
Absolutely. The perception is key.
Okay, next. Social proof. This feels like a really common one. Following the herd.
Pretty much. Social proof is our tendency to look at what other people are doing, buying, or saying as a guide for our own behavior. If lots of people are doing it, we assume it's probably a good or safe thing to do. It's a mental shortcut.
The article mentioned seeing things like 15 people bought this in the last hour on e-commerce sites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Especially for higher priced items. Seeing that other people are also buying it reduces your feeling of risk. It's like, okay, other people thought this was worth it, so maybe it is. It builds trust and confidence.
It's like unspoken validation from strangers.
Right. It leverages our need to conform and trust the group.
Okay, next we have nudges and choice architecture. Sounds a bit more intentional.
It is. This is about designing the way choices are presented to gently steer people towards a certain option,
Hmm?
but crucially, without taking away their freedom to choose otherwise. It's not about tricking people, it's about making a desired option easier or more appealing.
Like the Amazon's choice badge example.
Perfect example. That little badge is a nudge. It signals, hey, this one's popular, well-rated, probably a safe bet. Amazon isn't forcing you to buy it, but they are highlighting it, making it stand out as a good option, simplifying your decision.
It guides you without being pushy.
Precisely. It makes the preferred path slightly easier to take.
All right, nearing the end. Pain of paying. I think we all know this feeling.
Definitely. The pain of paying is just that the actual psychological discomfort we feel when we part with our money. And it tends to be worse when the spending is very obvious or immediate, like handing over cash.
So how do companies try to lessen that pain? The article mentioned EMI options on Flipkart.
Right. Instead of showing you the big, potentially painful full price like $50,000, they might highlight only $4,167 per month.
Breaks down.
Exactly. Seeing that smaller monthly number feels much less daunting. It reduces the immediate perceived pain of the purchase. Even if the total cost ends up being the same or more over time, it makes it feel more affordable now.
Spreads the pain out, so to speak. Makes it easier to swallow. Okay, last one. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. This is a really fundamental social rule. If someone does something nice for us, gives us a gift, or provides unexpected value, we feel this internal obligation to give something back.
Like owing someone a favor.
Basically, yes. The example used was GeoCinema, streaming the IPL, the big cricket tournament, for free.
That was huge. How's that reciprocity?
Well, by giving away something incredibly valuable and highly desired, live cricket, for free, Geo built up a lot of goodwill. People felt they got something great, which made them more likely to download the app, use the service, maybe tolerate ads, and perhaps even stick around or pay for other things later. It's giving first to create a sense of obligation or positive feeling.
So you give value and hope the customer reciprocates with loyalty or future purchases.
That's the idea. Build the relationship through initial generosity.
Okay, this is fascinating. But, there's a line, isn't there, between nudging someone ethically and, well, manipulating them.
Absolutely, and that's a really important distinction the article touches on, the difference between nudges and what are often called dark patterns.
Right, dark patterns. What are those exactly?
Dark patterns are deliberately deceptive design tricks. Things like hidden costs that only appear at the very end of checkout, making it super difficult to cancel a subscription, using confusing language to trick you into agreeing to something, basically exploiting psychology in a harmful or manipulative way.
So nudging, like the Amazon's choice badge, is more about making a good option slightly easier or more apparent without deception.
Exactly. Nudging aims to help people make better choices, often for themselves, like saving more for retirement, or guide them gently, while still leaving the ultimate choice up to them. Dark patterns aim to benefit the company at the user's expense through trickery. Big difference.
Got it. That's a
Yeah.
critical distinction to keep in mind. Okay, so just to quickly recap the 9 triggers we covered. Framing,
Anchoring and adjustment, relativity, loss aversion,
scarcity, social proof, nudges, and choice architecture.
pain of paying, and reciprocity. Wow, quite a list.
It really is. And understanding these, even just a little, gives you, the listener, a much clearer view of why certain messages or offers resonate so much.
Yeah, it's empowering, actually. Not to become cynical, but just more aware of the dynamics at play. You can start to see these principles operating all around you.
Definitely. So here's a final thought to chew on. Think about the last thing you bought. Could be anything: coffee, clothes, a subscription. Can you spot any of these principles that might have maybe subtly nudged your decision?
Was it framed in a certain way? Was there an anchor price? Did scarcity play a role?
Just noticing these things in your own life is pretty eye-opening.
It really is. And if you want to go even deeper into this stuff, Melina Palmer's book, What Your Customer Wants and Can't Tell You, is a great resource. It explores all this in much more detail.
Excellent suggestion. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.